Hello everyone, this is Tea Time with Paula R. Amor, and I'm super excited about this episode. We're going to be talking about the duality of a being, and I have my friend and sister, the queen herself, Dr. Tye Freeman. I almost hit that D word. Dr. Tye Freeman, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited and humbled at the same time that you have joined me on Tea Time with Paula R. Amor. So what's been going on? What's been happening?
First of all, I'm super excited to be here and talk. We have some really good conversations.
We do.
And to share them with others now is a great thing.
Yeah.
And life has been great. This is the perfect season for me to talk to you.
Oh, wow. That's great to know that this is the perfect season. It's good to know that there are seasons that you don't want to communicate and you don't want to give too much information or yourself to people. And I think that's a healthy boundary. And I feel like people need to learn more or accept that about themselves, especially in this social media driven society. I feel like we overshare.
We do.
We overshare even when we're mentally not well. Or our seasons are mentally challenging. We just overshare, and I feel like I see, as your friend, as your sister, I see that you are in a good headspace to share and talk about this topic that we're going to be talking about. And so, well, first of all, where are you from, Tye?
I'm from a little bitty town called East Chicago, Indiana. It's about 20 minutes outside of Chicago. So when I go home, I fly into Chicago, but I commute over to Indiana. That is where my family is. So
okay. So you know what good food is like.
I do, and it's not here. I miss that. That is one of the biggest things that I miss is the food.
I can imagine. But now, that's considered what, the northwest
corner of Indiana.
Okay, northwest corner of Indiana. So what I love the food. I've never been to Chicago, by the way. However, I know a lot of Chicagoans, or a lot of, is that Chicagoans?
Chicagoans, yeah.
Chicagoans that reside here in Georgia, in the state of Georgia, and from the food to the fashion to the personalities, it's like, y'all are really fly. Y'all are really fly. I be watching you. You be coming to the shows all sharp. I was like, that's a bigger. And your shoe game is like, girl. The shoe game, listen, y'all gonna catch her on another episode, and we gonna have a shoe cam by this time, and y'all gonna be checking it out, cause baby, but we doing the casual thing, comfortable thing. It's been raining like cats and dogs here.
Extremely, for 2 days.
We
got a full day of rain today. So.
Honey, and this episode almost didn't happen today because it was raining a little too much for mother. But we're gonna be talking about. Tye, we're going to be talking about today, I'm really excited about how do you master your duality, the balance between who you are privately and who the world expects you to be. So a little bit of background about Dr. Freeman and why she's a doctor, like she's a real doctor, and she is a psychologist.
Psychiatric nurse practitioner, but that's okay. You're in this.
I'm in the same area.
Yes.
Girl, I've been calling you a psychiatrist all this time.
Well, psychiatric nurse practitioner.
Girl, you be helping me out with my problems, and I be having some intense stuff behind the scenes. People think my life is really about that beach life, and I don't have no drama. I mean, I don't have any intentional drama. I think I want to say there's just some things that you can't help in life. But you've been there for me.
You have been there for me through an extremely rocky season.
Yeah.
God placed you in my life, and He knew who to place and when to place them. Yeah. And I'm thankful for that.
Oh, wow. So I'm grateful. I'm humble. And I want you to share with the viewers out there, what is that? You said give me the title again. It's a bunch of this.
A psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner.
A psychiatric
mental health
nurse
practitioner.
Girl, break all the words down.
Yeah, it's a lot of words, but essentially what it is we practice psychiatry just like a psychiatrist would practice. However, we are nurse practitioners, so we add a nursing philosophy to it. So my doctorate is in nursing practice. I focused on Black men's health, but my certifications, it's needed, right? You tie in psychiatry with Black men's health, and I was blessed to start off in family practice. I started off as a family nurse practitioner and then went back during COVID. I had some things going on myself during COVID, and just feeling the things that I was going on and listening, right? Because we couldn't see anybody, but listening to things that I was hearing, I was like, do I really want to do psychiatry? And I kid you not, somebody called me to be my student for a doctorate program, and she said, you really should be a psychiatrist. You need to go into psychiatry. And I was like, psychiatry? That's not something I'm interested in. You know, but it's funny how God will press you into something that you didn't even know you needed to be pressed in. And that was not only for all of the people that I serve and practice, but it was also for me. Things that I needed to heal within me through this whole learning of a whole new aspect of being a nurse practitioner.
Wow. So thank you so much for breaking that down, because honey, I'm like, she a doctor, she hear people's problems and she help us work it out, okay, mentally. But you do have that nurturing side from that nurse.
From being a nurse. That's the difference oftentimes between a psychiatrist and a psychiatrist. We're trained differently. We get to the same conclusions typically, but we go about it a different way. We definitely have a more personalized approach, more of nurturing, caring, compassion. Not to say that physicians are not, but the practice is different from that aspect.
I can tell. I've sat with psychiatrists before, therapists, and it's a little rigid. You know what I'm saying? And being that you have that nurse side of your practice, I feel the nurturement. I don't feel like I'm just another person. Not that I'm your client either, or your patient. I'm her sister, okay? And I just happen to have a professional sister that's a professional doctor, right? And so I'm not saying I get free services either, because I don't want y'all to think that y'all gonna be able to come and sit on our couch for free. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I feel the softness. I feel when you sit down and talk with me, and we talk about all kinds of things, and I bring an issue to you just have this softness, this gentleness. It's not, and you don't come from a place like you already have this thing, figure like you're smarter than me. You don't come from that, like, let me prescribe you this so you can get over that. No, it's just like I can see you listening. And I think you listen not just from a nurse place, but also a mother. And that's where that nurturement comes from. And I appreciate that about you. Just as a friend, as a sister. So that's Tye on a professional level, okay? Now, her information will be down in the bio section if you are looking for a therapist.
I do some therapy work, but mainly prescribing. So anxiety, depression, schizophrenia.
Okay. Oh, really?
But the thing about it is, if you're doing your job effectively, you're prescribing and you're giving therapy at the same time.
And I feel like you're gonna do all of that.
I do.
You're gonna do all that. Before we get into your personal life, I gotta go back to something what you said about your profession, is that your target audience, your demographics is Black men. So how did you, as a Black woman or a African American female, desire to assist Black men or a Black African American men with their mental life? How did you get to that desire?
Yeah, God blessed me with some really, really great men in my life. Also, I am a mother of a son. I have one son. I was also married at the time, and just really saw the things that Black men go through. Not to say that we don't go through things as Black women, but the landscape is a lot different from them. That is a population, to me, that is looked over, meaning even when you do a health or medical study, we tend to study the Black population as a whole, and we don't isolate Black men to see, what are the results just for them for hypertension,
right.
or what are the results just for them with anxiety and depression. We lump all Black people together. And Black men are different. They have a different way that they relate. They experience different traumas than we experience as Black women. They have a different way that they need to be able to receive. And one thing that I noticed was we don't do that as a culture. We have all of these different nonprofits and programs. We'll gear them toward Black boys, but we forget about the Black man that's 18 and up. So for me, that became a passion. Like, let's not forget them. They are the backbone of our families.
Right.
And if they're not, they should be. And
right.
we need to help them get there.
Wow. I think that's really powerful, man. And something's going through me right now. I too am a mother to a Black boy. And well, he's a man. He's 34 years old. And I can identify with what you're saying from this side of the fence, because my son, he's a pastor. Well, first he's a man, right? That had to grow up in a society that really hates him, right? And then he is a professional. He's a businessman. He is a son. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a pastor. He's a friend. He's all of these things. And I rarely see men who walk in that type of, existence have people or someone there or an outlet that they can sit and talk about their mental, you know what I'm saying, without being looked upon as weak or crazy or, just a incompetent person. Right. And we do have a lot of Black males that walk around feeling incompetent because they can't talk about what's going on with them mentally, physically, soulishly, and spiritually, and financially at times. You know what I'm saying? And so I can imagine the frustration that our men had to deal with in our community for so long. And I just listening to you, I love doing this podcast because then I start hearing God on different things, like how we can meet the needs of, especially people within our community. And there's something I want to talk about a little later, but that's later. But thank you for your commitment and your dedication and your heart posture to be able to provide these types of services for the Black male. I appreciate you. And God typically sends angels in the earth to complete heavenly assignments. And I do believe that you've been sent as an angel. So we're going to partner the Greenhouse Project. I see something that we can do together with your organization. So you have a nonprofit.
I do, but I want to put pause. Something you said, you list all these great attributes about your son. You know what I find? People do not give Black men credit. We don't often, even as women, right, come out and say, I appreciate you. I acknowledge that you did this. I acknowledge that you are connected to, being a spiritual being, that you're a friend, that you're a father. Yeah. They need those accolades. We know them, but do we verbalize it to them?
Wow.
Because that is empowerment for them. We have to empower our Black men. Yeah. I think we just look at them as being, a strong backboard for us, but we need to take the role to empower them, give them their flowers while they're here, right? Yeah. Praise them for the things that they do. Yeah. And it takes the right woman to do that. Right. Let's just be honest. Right. It takes the right woman to do that. But those are things that we need to do. A man wants to feel appreciated. That was one of the biggest things I learned during my research. They want to feel appreciated.
Wow.
And we don't do it.
Yo, so this is what I want to say this on tape. I want us to do a father-son dinner, intimate thing here, where you can talk to the men we're gonna get sponsors for that, y'all, and because I want them catered to. I want to bring in a chef, and I want to set it up real nice for about 10, 15 fathers or just men, Black men in general. If you don't mind coming in and talking to them, I think this is what's necessary and needed in our community. So to the topic.
Okay.
To the topic, because now we about to jump into Tye's personal life. Y'all don't get mine too, because I'm the main character of this podcast. I'm the main character, so I'm going to spill the tea on me. You know what I'm saying? But I always want to make sure that it's inspirational, very intentional on the things that I share about my private life. And so we're going to tap into your private life and talk about the duality. You know what I'm saying? How do you balance that out? Being that we are beings of a feminine energy and a masculine energy. And as your sister, I know you've shared some things with me about your private life. You just coming out of. Can I?
Go ahead.
Okay. So you're just coming out of a 20-year marriage?
25.
25. Good God. Okay.
Long time.
Yeah, long time. Long time. Where you played the role, although he was the male or the man in the marriage, but you wore the role, I feel like, and I'm just going to say, I got to be honest, I feel like you wore more the role of being the husband.
Yeah, and that wasn't right.
Yeah.
Just being, when you look at, you have to do introspection, looking at yourself. And that is where I needed improvement. That came from a place of codependency, just feeling like you can't trust somebody to do something and manipulating things to be the way that you want it to be, and then not allowing a king to be a king.
Wow.
Not allowing a king to be a king. A man's role is to lead. And, lead and control is two different things, let me be clear. But a man's role is to lead. And a leader is someone who makes the best decisions for everyone. That's a leader. A controller, of course, looks different. I'm telling you what to do, when to do, how to do it. But that was one of the things that I learned as I went through my own self-healing and reflecting on things that I could have done differently in the marriage. That was one of the biggest things, taking a step back and not being controlling. Let a man do what they need to do. Because I wasn't serving him or me any good. Couldn't see it necessarily when you're in the situation, because especially when you've been in a marriage that long, you tend to, things become just things that you do frequently.
Right.
But now, really walking into this new space, understanding the importance of me staying in my role and letting a man be a man and lead, because he is a king. And we have to support him being a king.
Yeah. So why do you think there are certain men that get into relationships? Let me start with the man side of everything. Thank you so much for sharing that part of your side. But why do you think that men get into these relationships? And I call them broken men, because a broken man cannot fulfill the role of a king or a husband or a father, like he should. But why do you think men go into these relationships? How do I want to put this? Not knowing they cannot serve in that capacity, because that brings on a lot to a woman. But go ahead.
Yeah, just to be honest with you, I'm not sure they know when they go into the role that they can't serve in that capacity. I'm not sure. It's about, again, self-awareness, doing some introspection. Sometimes, we do things all the time that we don't know if we can do it. We get in it, and most of the time we navigate and figure it out.
Right.
But I'm not for sure a man always knows. I do think that rearing plays a large part of it. Also think, people need to acknowledge we all have some trauma from being young. I mean, nobody's childhood is perfect, right? We might think so, but there's just trauma rooted there. And if we don't identify it early, whether you're a woman or a man, it spills into your relationships as an adult. And I don't think, men know that all the time. I think they come into it with great intentions, right?
Like, I got this.
I got it. Yeah, you think you do.
So do you think they got it because they got a penis?
I think society tells them that they have it because they have a penis. Not you just you're listening to what you hear.
Yeah.
And not giving them a space to be vulnerable. We don't often give men a space to be vulnerable. Yeah. Don't cry, go do this, go do that, make this happen. And we don't feed that emotional well-being.
Right. So I wanted to say penis first. I didn't want to say money. But because sometimes women, we get caught up with the penis before we get caught up with the money.
True.
But now we are in a season where women are just getting caught up with the money, and they're accepting the men who cannot perform as a king or as a husband or protector, provider, in not just a providing from a financial place or a materialistic place, but spiritually, covering, a spiritual covering. And so did you see those things? Because you say he was married for 25 years. Did you see some of the signs that he was not capable of leading you before you got married to him?
To be honest with you, you're talking about a 25-year marriage that started very young. Mm-hmm. You don't know what you're walking into a lot of times when you're young. You don't know if that person is going to be a good provider or a good protector. You're coming in at, like I like to say, ground zero both. And expecting to build together.
Right.
Not to say you should not get married young. That is not what I'm putting out there. Mm-hmm. But there are some things that you just cannot know about a person when you marry young. Those are the things that you are still figuring out.
Right.
So did I see things? Probably. But then you're already in this mode of just making things happen.
Now, wasn't sex good though?
Girl. Well, I'm gonna let the minds wonder about that. I don't know if I'm gonna give you an answer.
But now that dip of the head though, because I'm just saying, because sometimes we're overlooked as women. Because I hear you say age is a factor. Mm-hmm. You marrying young, nobody knows who they really are.
You don't.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, young relationships, younger people in relationships, they get caught up in the sex. They get caught up in, I want a husband, I want a wife, you know what I'm saying? And her coochie good, you know what I'm saying? And it's all of this physical entanglement.
Yeah.
And we don't think about the spiritual or the mental aspect. Mm-hmm. And so, and I say that to, if you're a young couple, if you're young and you're looking at this episode and you're hearing this and you're contemplating getting in a marriage, man, you got to check the boxes.
Check the boxes. Yeah. Really understand what your deal breakers are.
Yeah.
Really know what you want. Know yourself. That's the biggest issue. I did not know myself.
Yeah.
And at that age, you're talking about having a baby early and trying to do what society and the family wants you to do.
Right.
People pleasing.
Right.
And not knowing what you really want to do. Because you don't know yourself.
Right.
And that was the situation. Like, I have no ill feelings against my ex at all. Right. It was just something that was probably really not meant to be. You get caught up, like you said, in the penis.
Yeah. Girl, I done got caught up plenty of times with the penis.
You do.
Okay, but anyway, I'm waiting to talk about that a little later. But yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. You get caught up, and you are doing what you think other people want you to do. For me, I was pleasing my family. Okay, that didn't take away the sin that had been committed, right?
Right.
The sin was still there, but, okay, Mary, this is a good person. And I didn't know who I was.
Right.
I did not know who I was. And that's okay, because it was a learning process. Right. I would not be who I am today if I had not had that marriage.
Right.
That was just the time of growing, it was a long season, right? 25 years, but it was a time of growing and transformation to now create me to be the wife that I want to be in my next marriage.
And that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Yeah.
sometimes you will find yourself when you look at the fact that you're lost and you don't know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times relationships will show you that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm grateful. I said, I posted something, I was like, I think it was today, on Facebook, and I said, 2 divorces, 2 baby daddies, countless sub-zeros, and 1 hero. And I became the hero to all of those unhealthy choices that I made. However, in those unhealthy choices, because I didn't know who I was, I had to learn and discover who I truly was, to become a hero and a rescuer to my own problems or situations, or so I became everything that I wanted another man or a man to be. So and I say another man because I'm single, right? And I don't need another man in this season. I need to know the duality of me and heal the masculinity in me that I allowed other masculine energies to destroy. Yeah. And it first started with my father. And so I am learning how to heal the thing that I wanted my father to be. That because he was broken and he didn't know how to really be a husband, a father, because he was broken because of his father and all of these different things that, and same thing with my mom. My mom, she attracted all these broken men who were, on drugs and who were abusers physically, sexually. They just jacked up. And so looking at the masculine roles in my coming up through my childhood, and watching my mother be everything for a man, be the provider, her husband in prison for 15 years, and she taking care of him, and it's just like, wow. So you come into life or a lifestyle with a more masculine energy, and you don't know how to balance that thing out. I did not know how to balance that thing out. And at first, I didn't even know that I had a masculine energy. Okay, so let's start here.
Yeah, well, because we raised to be independent, right? I just had this conversation with my dad yesterday about, he raised us to be independent, and that's a great thing. But independence sometimes breeds masculinity. Yes, and not knowing how to pull back and let someone do something for you, because you're taught to be. For me, it was, go to college, get a degree, be able to take care of yourself. That benefits somebody else sometimes, not just you. Yeah. So again, it's how we're reared, and as women, we just have to make things happen sometimes. Yeah. And I think we get into that mode of making things happen, and that's when we don't allow a man to do what he needs to do. Right. We're too busy trying to be the man. Yeah. And and my understanding, I'm so glad, I'm grateful for these 4 years. I know you just recently became single. Your divorce was finalized. Like, what, 2 weeks? It's been 2 weeks? 2 weeks. My God, how you feel? You feel free? I do. Well, what I always say to people is, oftentimes, unfortunately, the divorce is already there before you even file. This is true. It's already there. You've already been through it. And in my case, the grieving took place while the marriage was still on paper. Yeah. And that's a hard thing to swallow. It really is. But when you file, it's for most people, it's already done. It's already done. So I don't feel like it is 2 weeks of being single. It had been single for a while. Gotcha. The attachment was not there. Gotcha. And I think being as masculine as I was in the marriage, it felt very isolated anyway. Almost like sometimes I was there by myself. And again, I'm that's the part of me that I'm owning, the part that I played in it. Right. But it was already in process, it was just more of a formality to get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay. So my story is I've been single for almost 4 years. December 25th of this year will make it 4 years. I left my ex-husband, my first husband. He wanted to remarry me, and we got engaged in 2021. And I knew. Listen, I wasn't spinning the block.
Mm-hmm.
He was still a broken man and unhealed, and I still had issues, trauma, dealing with. And so I decided to leave him. And in deciding to leave him, God was like, give me 2 years. And in the midst of those 2 years, I had to face my duality. I was confronted with my duality, like, why I was so rigid and so hard and so non-emotional.
Right.
Because when you have to operate in your masculinity as a woman, it takes you further away from your like I said, the nurturing part of it. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that you and I stayed in a nurturing place because we have children. But if I had any children, man, I would be cold as ice, as Rick James.
Exactly.
Cold as ice.
Yeah. My profession keeps me nurturing too.
My God.
Because I'm always trying to help others.
Yeah.
But that also is a downfall because I'm so busy always helping others that I don't often let others help me.
Right.
So it's learning now that balance of pulling back. Like, you cannot solve anybody. You can only control you.
Right.
Don't give advice when it's not asked for.
Right.
Those are just different things that, in this healing process, again, because I'm not going into my next relationship broken. I really spent time, over the last year doing a lot of self-work.
Wow.
Identifying those things that were at the root. How did I become codependent? Where did it start? Because it started somewhere.
Right.
Really doing that self-work. And I employ anyone to do the self-work and acknowledge what is there.
Oh my God.
That's the part that people don't want to do, is acknowledge what is not perfect with you or perfect in your life or perfect with your family.
Right.
Acknowledge it, because you can't move on until then.
Yeah.
So I consider myself healed, but always healing.
Right.
Healed, but always healing, because healing should be continuous.
Absolutely.
It should be continuous. It never stops. There's always a way to improve.
Yes.
Something that you can learn, something that you can change. But I do it for me.
Right.
From a place of me satisfying me versus trying to satisfy someone else.
Right. That's good. Having to nurture yourself in the midst of finding out things that you may not like about yourself is so important. And that was my thing. I was my medication, going through discovering a lot of different things about me in those 2 years. I smoked a lot of weed.
Okay.
Girl, I smoked a lot of weed, which allowed my brain to slow down, and I sat in nature with it. And I found myself like, oh my God, I want to build this, like physically build. I want to build this. I want to do, and nothing was soft. I didn't want to do nothing soft. Everything was like, I just want to do it rough. Like Tina Turner said, nice and rough.
That's that masculinity girl.
Right.
You were still stuck there.
Everything was rough.
Yeah.
And then on top of the fact that I'm from New York, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like very aggressive.
Girl, they say we aggressive in Chicago too. So,
but now, you know what? I feel a little. I'm going to call assertiveness.
Okay.
But I do feel the docileness about you.
Okay.
I sense the docileness.
It took work to get there, because that part of me was not there and was not visible.
Yeah. That's what I feel right now. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
And so I'm coming into that the docileness, the soft. I want to be softer. Again, you cannot because you start to feeding your feminine energy, or let me talk about me. I'm starting to feed my feminine energy more than my masculine, because one, it's soft in there, and mother is getting up in age. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be 52 in a few days, and so I'm like, hold up, okay, Paula, okay, listen. So let him get the door, let him carry the bags, let him do this.
That chivalry is real, girl, and they feel
good. Girl, is you experiencing that on some level like this right here? I see, girl, I see. Oh, listen, you done came up on something. What you say? You been single for a long time. Oh my God, girl, you telling the story. She trying to spill tea, y'all. Let me go on the set right now.
We're gonna let the tea stay in the cup.
Okay.